Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be continuing the Mad Monks of Kwantoom featuring the Horrible Four. First things first, however, before I get started, I think it's appropriate that I really apologize to you guys, as a lot of you have been very supportive of what I've been doing. And I should apologize that I don't get a lot of material out lately. When I first started doing this, I was pumping out a video a week, and it's slowed down ever since I got this new job. And lately, it seems like it has stopped completely. The reason that it's been like that is just because I've had no drive and no inspiration whatsoever, really, to get any of this done. I haven't done any solo role playing outside the channel either recently. I've just had no inspiration. Um, so I apologize if that's disappointing. But it is what it is, and I figure I may as well not do it at all if I can't if I'm not feeling it. I don't want to just crank out really boring, half done stuff for you guys. I mean, that wouldn't be right. And I mean, why engage in something that I don't get paid for and I'm not enjoying when I do it? But today I got a wild hair, and I definitely want to continue going with the Mad Monks of Kwantoom. I don't have to do a whole lot of thinking, and the book kind of just uh, tells you what to do, when to do it, and it'll give you encounters and everything. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and play some Labyrinth Lord. Last time, we got in the middle of what seemed to be some kind of street gang war, and we beat the ever living piss out of a bunch of thugs. After that, we figured, you know what? Let's just go to one of these pagodas. Let's get out of here. We're not getting anything done. And Sig is carrying around a giant keg full of alcohol. So good stuff. So let's get out there. We're gonna go ahead and arrive at our first pagoda. The boatmen and the freshwater sailors of Kwantoom are used to the treacherous waters of the Lake of the Poisoned Jewels. Several times a week, they take shady travelers and would-be explorers on board and deliver them to the opposite bank of the Yellow Springs Island, where the 1001 Pagodas of Doom lay, perpetually shrouded in mist. Sometimes they carry a lone passenger in a shady bamboo canoe, and sometimes they bring an entire party in a caravan of ships. Their fee is always the same, a single shining gold piece per passenger. When paid in advance for the journey, they come back a few days later and take their passengers to Kwantoom. The pagodas intertwine and mingle in a chaotic and somewhat ramshackle display of jungles of the island a few miles from the coast. Forever lost in the mist, they loom hauntingly over the hillside, their arched windows and derelict doors ajar. Some of them connect to others. Some stand alone at a distance among the thorny bushes and the rubbles. Petty brigands and monsters haunt the surroundings, and you need to check for wandering monsters every hour your characters spend in the ruins around the pagodas themselves. On a 1 in 6, they meet a monster that you can check in the Yellow Springs Monsters table on page 101. You need d6 turns to find the entrance to a pagoda. A further d6 turns when you want to discover another. You decide whether this entrance is a trapdoor, a broken paper window, or a torn-apart door as you see fit. When you enter the pagoda, roll for a starting area. Spread out a sheet of graph paper and start mapping, following the instructions from that point onwards, and jumping from random table to random table as you are advised to do. You explore the pagodas one after another until your characters have suffered or plundered enough to feel that a swift return to Kwantoom is needed. As you'll see, the generation tables have been tweaked so that you'll eventually and randomly get through a roughly pagoda-shaped building with few exits. When there are too many blank spaces on your grid map, that means that some of the sections of the pagoda are unaccessible. Maybe they crumbled long ago. Maybe they can only be entered through another pagoda entrance. The two buildings closely knitted together. Sometimes the corridors of a pagoda take you far away from the entrance, and sometimes they lead to underground levels or huge floors above ground level with no apparent logic. Imagine some pagodas as upside down trapezoid buildings and others as interconnected sections of a much bigger structure. Just consider that once there are no more exits available, your map represents a complete pagoda. It may happen soon or in 100 rooms, but at some point uh, it will, and you'll decide whether to go back to Kwantoom or keep exploring the island and enter another one. That's really intense, and it actually doesn't sound too different from the Fortress City thing we were doing a couple of years ago. So before we get started, I actually wanted to show you something kind of amusing. I remembered that Sig had bought an entire keg full of alcohol, and I acquired this miniature. It's hard to see because it's not painted; it's primed. But he's throwing up the Hang 10 sign, and he's got a keg over his shoulder, and he's wearing like sunglasses. I'm going to paint this up and probably use it for him for this entire run. So it's going to take us D6 turns to even find an entrance. So that sounds like a good time. Let's go ahead and roll a D6. It's going to take us 3 turns. Now, a turn is 10 minutes. It's going to take us like 30 minutes to actually find the entrance to a pagoda, which means we are wandering around in the ruins surrounding this thing. So, let's see. Okay, that's talking about wandering monsters in recovery. So it says we need to check every hour. It doesn't even take us an hour to get in, so we don't have to roll a random encounter when we first get in there. So let's see. Starting areas. Here we go. Roll a d12 and map out the area you just rolled somewhere in the middle of the sheet of paper. This is your starting area. So let's find a d12, and then I'm going to draw it on our grid paper here. I'm probably going to have to transfer whatever I draw here onto an actual paper, and then maybe eventually we'll have this entire pagoda layout on some pieces of paper, and I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so our starting room is going to look like this. And here it is, our first room in the pagoda. I'm going to say we find our way in through sort of like a destroyed section of wall. This kind of just leads us. I think we came in through here. That seems rational. So I'm going to say that's our arrow. Kind of just come in through a wall. Okay, first order of business. We're going to send in Veronique. Veronique is our sneaky sneak person. At least if I remember correctly. Yes, she has hide in shadows and move silently. So the first thing she's going to do is she's going to go ahead and move silently. I'm going to find our D100s. Here we are. I'm going to see how well she does. She has a 35% to successfully move silently into the building. So she's stepping in. And 95, no. She's not very silent at all. In fact, she trips over something, causes a bunch of noise, but she's immediately going to hide in shadows, which succeeds. So she's here, and she's going to stay still. She kind of throws her cloak over her, and she's going to gaze up and down the hallway. I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6 to see if anything hurt her. No. It's kind of deathly quiet after she causes that initial bit of ruckus, and the only thing we can hear is sort of the chirping and buzzing of various animals off in the woods, kind of around the ruins surrounding the pagoda. So after she takes a look up and down, she's gonna look outside and she's gonna kind of give a hand signal, and the rest of our crew is gonna move in. The first two, besides her, we have Galabraid on the right, we have Sig on the left, who looks up there, and then Lorcate comes in, and he is prepared to start casting spells. So that's been our first round. So it looks like we have 3 doors in front of us here, We have a couple hallways off to the right, a blind corner here, which I don't like. So let's go back here. And exit where to begin to roll. Okay, so it says you must choose an exit from there and begin to roll. If you choose a corridor, roll on the main table below. If you choose a door, roll on the space beyond door subtable on the next page. At any time except during fights, you may trace back your steps and choose another exit. As you proceed further, map your exploration on the grid paper. Cool. So who do we want trying doors? I think we want our muscle trying the doors. So let's see. Actually, let me rethink that. I think we're going to have Lorke try the doors. We want these guys looking off on kind of these blind corners and these open directions, because if anything comes from those directions, then we're good. Lorke can fade back and cast a spell. Remember, we're doing roll to cast, so he needs to successfully roll to cast his spells, which is good and bad. If he fails, stuff might happen. If he succeeds, though, he doesn't have like a set number of spells per day. Actually, that's not true. If he fails to cast a spell, he can't cast it again that day. So he's actually got 4 of these that are quote-unquote prepared. 4 plus his level, actually. So that would be like 7 spells, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he doesn't even have 7 spells. He has all 5 of his spells prepared. And if he fails, he's going to have to wait. Okay, so first things first. What do you want to do, Lorque? Do you want to try this door here? No, absolutely not. How about this door? Yep, that's the one he's going for. The first thing he sees, he tells Galabrade, hey, move up this hallway and just watch this corner. I'm going to open this door. Now, it doesn't say anything about locked doors in here, I don't think. 25% chance that there's a secret door hidden, determined randomly on a dead-end wall. Door. Okay. Wait a sec. Doors. Roll for door location, subtable A. Okay, so now we're opening a door. Space beyond. Here it is. Now, it doesn't say anything about a door being locked. But I feel like it would make sense for it to either be locked or stuck. So we're going to go ahead and roll. Is it locked? That's a 4. That's a yes. He's going to try and roll strength and force the door. That's right. Lorque is going to roll strength. So we're just going to say this is kind of base DC 10. He's got a strength of 8, so it's -1. He needs to roll an 11. He rolls a 13. He manages to force the door. And so now the space beyond the door, we roll a d20 for this. That's a 12. So this is a room. See chambers and rooms on page 112. All right, chamber and room structure. Rolling another d20 for the chamber and room. That's a 16. This is a circular room. D3 times 10 diameter. There's no exit. That's a 1 times 10, so it's a 10, but wow. So remember, no. I made this mistake earlier. So this is it's like a circular, I'm actually just going to draw it more like this. So that room kind of looks like this. There's no exit in it. Circular hexagon rooms have chambers and have a pool 50% of the time. Has a pool. Okay, well, whatever that means, we'll roll for it. So it has a 50% chance of having a pool in it. So I guess this is like water. That's a 30. So we've rolled under a 50. So it does have a pool in it. Pool of 50% of the time, this pool may be empty. 50% chance. The pool is empty. Full of weird substances. Oh, full of weird substances, 25% chance. Okay, so we rolled under 50, but not under 25. So that means it's empty. Cool. So where do we roll for like stuff that's in the room? There we go. Features. Features of the room. So that's a D100. So what is in here? It's a 6. Pieces of wood rotting. There's really nothing. There's really nothing in here. Wait, room contents. Does it say chamber or room structure? Sorry, I'm still getting used to this. I'm learning this with you guys, so I haven't actually done Kwantoom on my own. So I think that was 101. No, doors, corridors. That's a chamber and room structure. It doesn't really say. So I guess there's just broken wood and stuff in here. So he was really excited about finding stuff in there, and he's kind of disappointed. So now we'll say, actually, we're gonna have Veronique try this one so that Lorca is not just like running around the entire time. So Spaces Beyond. Space beyond a door. Oh, we can roll door structure. Oh man, there's so much stuff in here. I didn't even see this. So this door is a simple door. It's wooden. It's a jar. Roll immediately on the space beyond. So this door is actually open. The space beyond this door is a room. So we roll an 8. So this is another room. 112. Chamber and room structure. Oh, we rolled a 1. It's a square, 20 by 20. No exits. Now it's kind of impossible for us to have a 20-foot, but these are 5, 10, 15. So we can't actually have that, but maybe it's 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, so maybe it goes here, like that. Yeah, okay. That works. It's a big square 20 by 20 foot room, and there's no exits. So now I guess we can roll stuff that's in the room. Oh, yeah. It has a, okay, so it is not a circle or a hexagon, so it doesn't have a chance to have a pool. So this is room and chamber features. Let's do. I actually really enjoy doing this with rooms. It's really fun. 67. What do we got here? It's a statue, random oriental god or demon. It doesn't have any subtable for that. So let's say that actually I have like a little statue right here. I know it's not like oriental looking. It's going to be right there. So we have this big old statue of like a god or a demon. So that's a feature. And then we have room contents. 19. Treasure only. So wow. So this is some kind of shrine room where there's like offerings left here. So the treasure section below. What do we get? Veronique found some loot. Good job. Go to 5. Porcelain ware is equivalent to 500 CP. It's copper pieces. It's not terrible. So we have some porcelain. So imagine this is like tea ceremony stuff. It's kind of like on a little table in front of this thing. That's cool. That's 500 copper pieces worth of stuff. Nice. Okay, so wandering monsters within here. So how do we know we run into something? Give me just a second. Okay, so what it says is that every hour while we're in here, we got to roll for a wandering monster. So an hour is going to be like, I think a turn is like 10 minutes. So that's going to be like, that's like 6 turns. Now I'm going to say a turn is whenever everybody has activated and done something. So we got to keep track of just how many turns we've had. So they've all moved in. That was 1 turn. They tried some doors and moved to defensive positions. That's 2 turns. So now we're on turn 3. That's going to be our turn counter right there. So turn 3, Galabrade is going to start by looking down this hallway. So this is a corridor, so we need to see what he sees down this corridor. Corridors, corridors, corridors. Where is that? To proceed further, map your exploration on the grid paper. Space beyond door, corridors. Here we go. Oh yeah, roll for illumination. So okay, so down this corridor, I had forgotten that not everybody in the party can see in the dark. Mainly Lorque, but it's fine. We're gonna do D100s to see what kind of illumination is down that corridor. So Galabrade turns his kind of empty, unliving eye sockets to peer through his iron helmet and look down that hallway. And is it illuminated? That was a 76 that we rolled. 2d4 paper lanterns that are just lit. So there's definitely someone in here somewhere. So 2d4 paper lanterns. There are 7 paper lanterns. I imagine they're kind of like the red kind, like you see like on some I think a couple Chinese holidays have like these red paper lanterns. Anyway, they look really cool. So I like those. Let's go ahead and roll a d20 to see corridor type. 11. Plain wood and plaster, 5%. 5% point of damage. Oh, fire hazard. Oh, it's a fire hazard. Yeah, because it's made of wood and paper and stuff, so it can catch fire. So let's see. Luckily, Lorque doesn't have any fire spells. Oh, they have this whole section about using fire spells with the pagodas. You can burn it down. That's crazy. All right, let's roll for some corridor features. D100. 41. Burnt and charred walls. Ooh, so it's like this has already kind of happened. That's crazy. How about some random items? D20. 15. Get anything? Porcelain item with D100 silver pieces. 25% intact. So it is intact, worth D100 silver pieces. 29 silver. That's a good find. That's a good find. Special quarters? Exactly sure. Corridor structure. Okay, so this is how we're going to determine what it's shaped like beyond what he's looking at. Corridor structure. That's a D20. That's a 19. The corridor turns right at a 90-degree angle. So that's his right, so it's going to turn this way at a 90-degree angle. It's just straight like that. So we're seeing paper lanterns. So there's like 7 of these along the wall, and he finds some porcelain stuff on the floor. Let's see. Chambers and rooms. Okay, so I'm guessing this like leads to a new area. Okay. I guess we'll have to see what's on the other side of that area.